Hi guys, Modulus the Gamer here, AlwaysDizzy on Lichess. I am back with another beginner chess game analysis video. I believe this is number 14. Let me check. I think it's number 14 in the series. Yes, it is. And I decided, since I've had no request from anyone to do an analysis of their game, I had to find a game to do one on. I decided to do one from the user YorkyChess95. He sent me a couple of suggestions for my videos and streams, so I thought might as well do an analysis of one of his games. Just a reminder, if any of you want me to analyze your game, just send me a message. There's a very good chance I'll do it since no one has been sending me any requests. Also, if you enjoy these videos, these beginner chess game analysis videos, let me know by leaving a comment or thumbs up or something. Otherwise, maybe there's not much demand for it, and maybe I should not be continuing them. So it'd be good to know what viewers like. Okay, so moving on. Oh yeah, I also just want to mention a caveat. I'm not a titled player. I'm not an international master or grandmaster. These are my ratings, so you can decide for yourself if you think my analysis would help you or not. Okay, so getting back here. So it looks like YorkyChess95 plays only classical, and he does a lot of tactics as well. So good job to Yorky. That's very good if you want to improve. I myself have been playing a lot more classical. It's not as fun as Blitz or Bullet, not nearly as fun, but it's more rewarding because you will learn much more efficiently by playing longer time controls. So good job there. I'd like to find a longer game that he has played, and I want to find one that he's lost. It's usually the most instructive. Okay, 36 moves. I'd like to find one that's a little bit longer. I don't want one that's from an arena game. Okay, maybe here. This looks decent. From a week ago, it looks like it's a Sicilian game. Okay, here we go. So our hero is white, he's 1470, playing a 1576 on classical time control. I'm going to turn off the engine and try to do this myself, but I will probably consult the engine here and there. Okay, we have like an open Sicilian so far. We have an early e5, not the most popular line, although I do see it even in my games. It's kind of a move early when black could play the Najdorf instead. But yeah, e5, it's not like the worst move. I'm trying to remember what I play against it. I believe I go back to f3. Main line is showing bishop b5 check, but white is kind of okay in a number of scenarios. You can move the knight back immediately, or I guess you can give a check first. Let's see what our hero did. Oh, knight db5. That's interesting. It's interesting because it's almost like a Kalishnikov, Lowenthal, or Sveshnikov type of position, but I think the main difference here is it's very similar to those openings. Although there is no knight on c6, which there usually is in those other openings. So that's a difference. Because a6 should be coming, and then the knight has to move back. So it might still be okay. I'm kind of curious what Stockfish thinks of this knight b. Okay, it doesn't like it because it's saying that black has gained at least equality here after a6. Yeah, so we move the knight back. Yeah, it just seems... I think the problem is the move order is different in that we're not able to... Yeah, it's not an immediate threat, so we have to move back immediately before we can even play bishop g5. but it's very similar. And it's very similar. Okay, he does maneuver to knight c4, which shows some good thought processes from our hero, because that is a very common move that you will play in the Kalishnikov, moving the knight from a3 to c4. I mean, obviously, it's not, you don't really want to keep the knight on a3. Typically, you would move knight c4, maybe a move or two later, but here, knight c4 seems reasonable. I'm not going to analyze the opening like fully as I do in my own games and go crazy with it, but so far it seems fine. I think white is okay here. Takes, okay. Takes again. Ooh, I don't know about queen e2. I don't like queen e2. I mean, the natural move for me, sorry, queen, yeah, the natural move for me here would be queen d2. The knight is already defended by the bishop, and there's no good discovery by black, you know, because he's only attacking our queen with his queen, so that's not even really a threat, because our queen is defended, and he can't give us a check or anything. Well, yeah, so possibly white is scared of queen e2 followed by bishop b4, but simply c3 knocks that away with tempo. So the reason I don't like queen e2 here, and we'll see what the engine says, but I really don't like queen e2 here. First of all, we're blocking our light squared bishop, which means we're going to have to move the queen again in the future if we want to develop this bishop off on this diagonal. We could fianchetto it, but it's going to be hard with this bishop here. And well, that's the main thing I don't like about it. But it's also our queen has even one. Well, that's pretty much the main reason I don't like it. I mean, this light squared bishop is trapped. The other thing is the queen on d2 is kind of a good piece once we're able to castle, creating a type of battery. It can create some type of threats. So I'm quite surprised about queen e2. Okay, let's see what Stockfish thinks. Okay, so let it run a little bit here. Depth 17. So it's not even liking queen d2. It's liking knight b6. Attacking the bishop twice. Did not even consider that. It's wanting this, you know. He's going to have to move his bishop, I think. So the engine wants this. If he moves the bishop somewhere, then I guess we just win the exchange. Just take the rook. Yeah, so it's basically a fork because he can't defend the... Okay, I didn't even look at that. I was just looking at the queen. I think part of it is because... whoops. Part of why I didn't see that here is because he played queen e2, and I was trying to find a better place for the queen. I didn't bother looking at other moves, but okay, turn off. Oh yeah, so you can see queen d2 is the fifth best move here. So it actually likes a lot of moves over queen d2. But if we look at queen e2, it actually gives it minus 0.2. So it does prefer queen d2 over, but I guess there were a lot of better moves over queen d2. Yeah, I didn't look at that. I was too focused on the queen. So that would have been, knight b6 would have been awesome there. But anyways, again, yeah, queen e2, I would avoid such moves in the future. You don't want to be blocking your pieces if you can avoid it. I don't like that move by black because we are basically gaining a tempo here by, we could go bishop e2, kicking the queen out. We could even play, I guess c3 doesn't quite give a tempo, but I think black's queen is a little misplaced on a5. But if we play bishop d2, we're basically gaining a tempo. I guess black could technically bring in another piece, but it's probably still better for white if we yeah, I would think we would take and then maybe castle. Let's see what Stockfish thinks. It's preferring c3 over bishop d2, but in either case, the evaluation, well, no. So it's like I guess it strongly prefers c3 over bishop d2. But yeah, anyways, not the greatest move for black there. Whoa, b4. Okay, I do not like b4. b4 is a huge blunder. It's only defended one time by the queen, and it's attacked 3 times. So it's easily overpowered by black. So this is a huge blunder. The other thing is, even if b4 was defended again, I wouldn't like this move, because now we're saying, okay, we're never going to castle queenside anymore because it's completely exposed. We're limiting ourselves to kingside castling, and we're still 1 move away. Well, I guess you could say 2 moves away from castling. So I don't like b4. That's just a huge blunder. I also don't like the way that black took here. Thinking taking with the bishop would be better, because black is developing the bishop. Let's see if I'm right in my analyses here. Turn on the engine. Yeah, b4, see, the evaluation jumps from plus 1.3 to minus 5. And then taking with the queen was another bad move. We can see now it's even again, but taking with the bishop maintains that minus 5. So yeah, I definitely nailed that analysis there. So yeah, b4. So these series of moves were terrible by both parties. And again, he takes with the knight. So obviously the reason that black is wanting to take with knight is because he's wanting to do this fork, right? But this is kind of hope chess. And I know I'm supposed to be focusing on our hero, which is white, but this is still instructive. Normally, I would take with the bishop here, because we're developing our bishop for free, getting a piece developed and taking the queen, opening ourselves to castling and giving check. Way better than taking with the knight. But the reason I believe that black took with the knight is because he wants to threaten this fork on the king and the rook on c2. But at this level, what these players need to realize is, or at least black in this case, this is a hope chess move, where black is hoping that white won't see this fork and that he's going to get a fork. But you can't play like that. You always have to assume your opponent will play the best move Doesn't matter if your opponent is rated 500 or 300. You have to pretend that your opponent is going to play like Magnus Carlsen or Stockfish. You can't just hope that they're going to miss this fork, because that will get you nowhere quickly. You have to assume they're going to play the best move. So when black was looking at this, he should have simply saw that white can defend this fork a million different ways. Yeah, so, moving bishop here, moving his king in or whatever. So, okay, moving on. Wow, white castles into this. Okay, so I would not, okay, well, white wants to defend this, right? The c2 pawn. He wants to defend the c2 pawn. So he's thinking, okay, if a castle, my king will be on c1. Okay, but this is bad for many reasons. First of all, when you castle, your rook is going to be on d1, and suddenly black can take here with check. You're losing a pawn, and black's taking with tempo. Secondly, look at this big gaping hole here. I should do the arrows inside, but look at this big hole. White does not want to be castling into, like, this is not king safety. Why not castle on the king side where you got all your pawns here? Don't castle here. Okay, so yeah, he's worried about this fork, but this could be defended in different ways. We can't move the rook because, again, black would just take the a2 pawn, but why not simply bishop to d3? This can't kick us out because we would simply take it. Possibly, if black moves the rook over to d8, that could be a problem because it's attacked twice. But white can move the king up there to defend, or possibly attack the knight. That may work. May not. Maybe it might not work. But I don't like castling into that. I mean, we're losing a pawn at least. So at least here we're not losing that pawn. Yeah, so this is what happens. And even this move, I wouldn't blindly move here. I would consider, yeah, we have to move the king. We're in check. But the king has 3 squares. Don't just move automatically. Maybe this is the best move, but maybe not. I'm actually inclined to play b2 here. Well, actually, I'm very inclined because good thing I took my time, because look, we go here, we're going to lose to a fork. And we're losing the rook, or we're losing the exchange anyways. So good thing I took my time, because I didn't see that when I first started talking about these 3 squares. I didn't even see the fork yet, but that's why don't just move blindly. And again, look at the time control. 16 over almost 17 minutes, almost 2 minutes more than our hero started with. Moving way too fast. You gotta think. You gotta think. So, but the reason why my gut was to actually play b2 is just because we're starting to near into the end game here, and in the end game you want to move your king up. So, I was just thinking b1. Yeah, we're going on a dark square, and black's bishop is a dark squared bishop, but he can't give us any checks. And in the future, it may be handy to have the king slightly closer to the center. So that's why I was thinking b2, but simply moving b1, we're just falling to the oldest trick in the book. So king b1, let's see if black sees it, although I'm sure he will. Yeah, so there we go. So black moves here. Well, I shouldn't give moves for black, but I'm almost thinking just castling may possibly be better, because we're getting the king out of the way of this rook. But moving the rook, moving simply rook d8 immediately is not so bad. Okay, I actually think that's an okay move. Black can give us another check, but I don't think we care, because he can't really follow up with anything. He can give us a check. I guess that check might be annoying because it's actually pinning us. So maybe we don't quite like that. But you see how I'm thinking? Like, our hero just plays way too fast. Like, even here I'm thinking, even moves that seems like it doesn't really matter, you should always be thinking. So here, moving to c1 allows this bishop move, and then after we move again, check, and then there's just this annoying pin. And it's hard for us to get out of this pin. We can do it by going g3 and then bishop g2. That will relieve the pin, but on the other hand, the reason initially I like to see king c1 is that going to e2, we're blocking our bishop, and if we go to e1, we're blocking our rook. Okay, anyways, yeah, so this is what happens. Yeah, okay. And so if I was black now, I would, well, I guess you have to move the bishop. Possibly even just, well, I don't know. Yeah, possibly here. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but yeah, because you can lock it in, which is kind of nice. So what the hell was this move? Bishop b5 check. Oh wow. So I didn't even see that when he moved the bishop. I didn't even see that as a issue for black. But yeah, good job by white. So getting a discovered check, attacking the rook here. That can put him back into the game. I mean, we already know the end was out of the game, but yeah, good job there. So when I didn't even consider that a issue when he moved his rook here about the light squared bishop being on the same diagonal as the king. So yeah, so that is actually that I did not see that for black. So okay. Look at that. All of a sudden white is back in the game. Yeah, it's still, I mean, it would still be close here. It would still be a very close game. So castling, well, okay, I don't want to talk about every tiny move here, but I'm actually thinking possibly just moving the king up might be a better move, because we're in the end game, right? So you want your kings active. You don't really, putting the king is, yeah, it's safe in the corner, but you're going to want the king to be an active king. So in this case, it might be better to not castle. Anyways, he castled. Black attacks the bishop. He does develop the king. Can I say that? Develop the king. But he does improve the king by bringing it towards the center and attacking the bishop at the same time. So I don't hate king c3 or king b3. Although I would probably here, I'd probably activate my rook and guarantee myself a free pawn immediately by going to d5. You know, we're attacking two pawns. They both can't be defended at the same time. Probably what I would play. Again, so he can go either here or here with his rook, guaranteeing himself a pawn. Okay. Okay. So at the very least, white should at least draw this, but I actually think white is completely winning because white has a passed pawn. There is no other pawn from the opposing side that can challenge this pawn. So I think white is completely ahead here. Let me just see if my evaluation is right. But even though it's the same material here on the board, I think white is completely winning. Let's see. Okay, not completely winning, but winning. But 1.5 or 1.3 or so, 1.4. So winning. But I thought it would be a bigger advantage here. I thought it would be much bigger for white. But okay, but 1.5 is still very healthy. Just want to again point to the time. 19 minutes on the clock. 4 more minutes than he started with. And the opponent, same time they started with. There's no excuse for this. You should not be playing this fast. If I'm playing someone that is rated 1300 or 1200, I'm still going to play pretty slow. I want to make the best move. I have time. Use all your time. It's such a waste. It would be like if I gave you $100,000 a month, and at the end of each month I give you another $100,000. But I do that like for a year, right? But you don't get to keep what you don't spend. So it's such a waste if you only spend, let's say, $1,000 for the whole month, right? You could have had another $99,000, but you didn't spend it. So it's I don't know if that's the best analogy, but with your clock, use your time. Use your time. I say that in every video. Okay, this is reminiscent of game 1 or game 2 in the Fischer-Spassky match from 1972, where Fischer took. It's a huge blunder. Let's see if white traps the bishop. He does. Okay. So, yeah, good job there. That's like a very common beginner mistake by black. Easy way to trap the bishop. Move the king up. This was good. See, I don't see the need to move the bishop. Just push the pawn. Whoops. Just push the pawn, man. That's what I would do, I believe. Or, yeah, I would push the pawn here. Maybe he's scared of black pushing f4, but if he does, we just take it. So I don't see the problem. Just push the pawn. Don't try to, like, I don't see the point of this. You're just blocking your pawn here. Attacking the rook, but so what? Yeah, these are kind of pointless moves. Like, again, just push the pawn. That's how you're going to win the game. There we go. Well, now it's a little dangerous now that he pushed the pawn. I mean, he made all these weird moves with the bishop and rook when he should have just pushed the pawn. Now he actually ignores this pawn, which is not the greatest idea. He's allowing black to free this bishop. So white has to be careful here. Yeah, I don't like ignoring this pawn. White basically did the opposite of what he should be doing here. Like here, just push the pawn, you know? Just push the pawn. Instead, he makes these weird moves, and then he pushes the pawn, which is fine, and then he ignores the pawn. So I mean, he ignores the f pawn, which you shouldn't do, because this is dangerous now. You know, black is threatening to take here and unleash the bishop, and also threatening to queen even, and black even has a rook to defend the queening c pawn. So okay, so at least that pawn is taken care of now. Why not rook b7? Yeah, this is tough now, actually. This is tough. I think black might be ahead here. Let's see what Stockfish says. Okay, it says that white can excuse me, white can draw, but white is no better. But I was thinking possibly rook b7. But I don't think, yeah, that's why I was not sure, because if rook b7, and if black takes, black can stop this queening pawn. I guess this is losing. Everything here loses for black. So it doesn't, it's saying if rook b7, don't take the rook. It's saying rook c7. It's saying there's a lot of other drawing moves. Well, 3. It's saying there's rook c7, king g6, and king g8 apparently all draw. Interesting. Everything else loses. Okay, anyways, moving on. Did white play? Oh, white didn't play rook b7 though. He played rook here. I'm kind of going quick in this endgame because the video, I think it's already pretty long. But let's see what happens. I'm not quite sure what the point is of bishop e3, but let's see. Oh, white is making a lot of moves that aren't doing anything. And look how much time he has. It actually bugs me. Like, it actually annoys me. Like 20 minutes, and he just moves faster. He doesn't even when he's in trouble, he doesn't slow down. He's got 20 minutes to figure out a plan, and he does not use it. It actually bugs me. Why play classical? Why play classical if you're not even going to use your time? It's so pointless. You're letting your opponent think, even though the opponent isn't thinking either. People at this level usually don't use their time, but it's still very annoying to me because I'm always in time trouble because I use my time. Okay, but as I was saying, white is making kind of pointless moves here as I see it. Like, what is the point of this? He gives a check, so what? White needs to be worried about these two connected passed pawns queening, or trying to queen his own pawn. Don't just give random checks. Like, what is the point behind this? Okay, so now again, where White is attempting some ideas here, but he drops his bishop. And also, I don't want Yorkie Chess. I don't want him to come to me and respond after saying, "Oh, this game I wasn't really trying," or I wasn't paying too much attention because I was cooking, or I was doing my homework, or whatever. If you're playing a classical game, like if you're going to play chess, focus 100%. I don't know what he was doing here, because like in the end, he's really dropping stuff left and right, and he's playing so fast. I just do not understand this. Like, if someone phones you or something and you can't play, like maybe just resign the game or something. Don't bother. Don't try to play. I don't know what happened here, but something is weird. Yeah. Maybe he just kind of gave up at this point, but resign if you actually give up. Yeah, because he's just dropping pieces. Like I don't know what he's doing here. And now he's hoping for a stalemate, but it didn't happen. So I got kind of a little upset or angry or annoyed at the end there. But really, you got to use your time. He ends up with 6 minutes more than he started with. In most of my games, I will end up with with the minimum amount of time that I need to finish the game, you know. Most of my games I will be playing off of close to increment near the end, or maybe I might have a minute left when the game ends. Yeah, there's no excuse for having that much time, unless you are completely winning. You made like the perfect move every move. There's no excuse to have that much time at the end of the game. There's definitely no excuse when you lose. If you lose the game and you have this much time on the clock, like there's no excuse for that. You should be using that time to think. Okay, that's my rant over on the clock. Other things to just keep in mind here. Opening was fine, I think. This was a blunder, but again, I think a lot of this is by White moving too quick. Like this was a really bad. This b4 was really bad. It's attacked 3 times. It's defended once. I don't know what that was about. The castling, you lose a pawn needlessly, and then this king move, you lose the exchange needlessly. Again, I think he was just moving too quick. Here, you got to slow down. Think for every move. Don't just automatically assume, okay, check, move my king. You gotta, every move you have to consider what your opponent can do. And it's basic advice, but it's needed, right? It was needed in this game. Here, this was actually what I didn't even pay attention to about this discovered check at taking the rook threat. I did not even, I kind of had tunnel vision here, so I didn't notice that. So that was good by White. That was certainly good. Puts him right back into the game. This was all fine by White. This was all good. But here, push the pawn, man. Moving the king here was okay, but this was pointless. Like, what is the point? There needs to be points behind your move. What is the ultimate goal of this? I do not understand this bishop move at all. I don't see the rationale behind this at all. Attacking the rook, no. The advantage that White has here is this passed pawn. Push it. You know, this check, like, so what, you know. And then here White just, I guess he didn't see the real threat of this. But this is, according to Stockfish, a draw. And then White somehow loses this in remarkable fashion. He makes a lot of kind of pointless moves again. And then, like, he takes here, like, his bishop's under attack, you know. I guess the problem is it was actually here when he makes the blunder because, no, but even here, yeah, it was really here because he can just simply move the bishop. Yeah, you can just move the bishop and the bishop still defends the rook. So I don't know why he took here, but he was moving too quickly. That's why he moved there. He was moving too quick. Yeah. I'm almost thinking that you could. I was thinking that white could almost take the rook here, take the bishop, but yeah, it doesn't quite work. Anyways, that's my analysis video. It's pretty long. Hopefully that helps you guys. And I say this every video. I think every video I've made so far, I've said this, like, slow down. Slow the hell down. Think about your moves. Otherwise, why the hell are you playing classical? Like, there's no point. The whole point of classical is to really think, strategize, and prevent blunders. So I never want to, like, I'm going to be, if I keep getting videos that I analyze and this keeps happening, it's going to be very frustrating for me. Okay. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for watching. If you'd like me to review your game, send me a message. Okay. Thank you.